This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Criminal traces a link to four Jamaicans arrested in Florida. Commissioner of Police Major General Anthony Anderson has divulged that 4 of 7 Jamaicans who arrived on a boat illegally in the United States last Thursday are linked to criminal activities in Jamaica. Speaking this morning during a press conference hosted by Jamaica House, the top cop said that local law enforcement authorities are now in dialogue with their U.S. counterparts to exchange additional information on the illegal migrants. We have been working with our international partners in this and have found criminal traces for 4 of the 7 so far, and only a couple of weeks before that, we know that another person who is wanted in Jamaica tried to enter the United States in a similar way, but was found and sent back to us, Anderson said. Local law enforcement officials have said that among the illegal migrants was a former Don who had multiple convictions in Jamaica. Last Thursday, U.S. authorities detained 14 migrants who were traveling in a boat that came ashore hitting a seawall in South Florida. It was reported that the migrants were coming from Jamaica and had first traveled to the Bahamas. One of the migrant men told a U.S. television station that he was fleeing from violence in his country. There's killing going on there. We want a better life. No life is in Jamaica right now, the man said, who has now been identified as Dion Clark, popularly known as Booby Skeng, who is reported to have wielded significant influence in the East Kingston community of Dunkirk. 70 persons booked for DRMA and COVID breaches in Ocho Rios. Some 70 persons were arrested by the police in relation to breaches of the Disaster Risk Management Act in Ocho Rios, St. Anne on Friday night. The individuals were apprehended during police operations that were conducted by the Area 2 Police Headquarters in the busy tourism town approximately 1 hour after the weekday 9 p.m. curfew. According to the police, approximately 50 of the individuals were issued with summonses to appear in court in relation to various COVID-19 breaches, including failure to wear masks. Further, some 20 persons were detained and transported to the Ocho Rios police station, where they were charged with offenses also under the DRMA. Speaking to reporters during the operation, newly minted head of the Area 2 Police, Assistant Commissioner Calvin Allen, who led the operations, said many persons in St. Anne have not been obeying the COVID-19 protocols, including the curfew orders. He further said several motorists who were stopped had no valid reason to be in the public domain within the curfew hours. Against that background, the commander in charge of the Area 2 Police Network, which comprises the parishes of St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland, urged the persons to comply with the measures. Curfew commences at 9 p.m. Mondays through to Fridays. On Saturdays, it starts at 8 p.m. and on Sundays, it is at 2 p.m., Allen reiterated. These are the rules as were announced by the Honorable Prime Minister, and we are here to enforce the rules, and we want persons to comply, Allen said. Man accused of killing pregnant girlfriend mobbed by angry crowd. A man accused of killing his pregnant girlfriend was rescued from angry residents by the police today. The incident took place in Kellett's Clarendon. The woman has been identified as Tashika McKay. In trying to disperse the crowd, the police fired several shots into the air. "Give it the boy," a member of the crowd shouted at the cops. Investigations continue, more details to follow. Driver in Bagua Gorge crash granted $300,000 bail. The driver of the motor car that crashed into a minibus in the Bagua Gorge that resulted in the death of a woman has been granted bail in the sum of $300,000 in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Friday. 21-year-old Malik Winter, a laborer of a Cheesefield Linstead address in St. Catherine, was granted bail on condition that he reappear in court on September 17, 2021, when the case of manslaughter will again be mentioned. He is charged with the death of 59-year-old Valerie Ennis, a laborer of the White House housing scheme in the parish. The crash happened about 9:30 a.m. on June 8. The police reported that Ennis was among passengers in a Toyota Hiace minibus that was heading towards Linstead from Spanish Town. It is further reported that, while traveling along the roadway, a Toyota Fielder motor car, which was being driven by Winter, overtook a line of traffic and crashed into the minibus. The impact caused the Hiace to careen into the Rio Cobre. At least 8 persons, including Winter and a passenger in the Toyota Fielder, sustained injuries. Ennis, who was ejected from the minibus and was taken from the river by divers, was pronounced dead at hospital. An investigation was launched, which resulted in Winter's arrest. Soldier among 20 held for breaching curfew orders in Old Harbor. A man said to be a soldier was among 20 persons apprehended during a set of operations carried out by the police in Old Harbor on Friday to clamp down on persons breaching the Disaster Risk Management Act. Police said the clampdown started after 9 p.m. During the raids, police said they also apprehended a number of persons gathered in an informal red light district located in the St. Catherine-based community. Police said the persons who were apprehended were later taken into custody. The police high command in a release stated that as a result of recent amendments to the DRMA, the police were no longer required to give warning notices before effecting an arrest for breaches under the Act. It means those in violation of rules to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in Jamaica can now be arrested and charged immediately, advised the JCF's Corporate Communications Unit in a news release on Wednesday. Previously, an act in apparent contravention of Jamaica's coronavirus rules did not automatically constitute an offense or a breach of the DRMA because the offending party had to be first issued a warning by an authorized officer, and their subsequent failure to comply would lead to an arrest. 2 more COVID-19 deaths, 61 new cases. Jamaica on Saturday recorded 2 COVID-19 deaths, pushing the tally to 1,033. The deceased are a 54-year-old woman from Kingston and St. Andrew and a 77-year-old male from St. Anne. Meanwhile, there were 61 new cases with ages ranging from 2 years to 86 years, pushing the total to 49,668, with 19,647 being active. Of the new cases, 33 are women and 28 are men. A total of 2,530 tests were conducted. The country has a positivity rate of 5.7%. In the meantime, there were 155 more recoveries, increasing the total to 28,620. Some 139 persons are in hospital, with 27 being moderately ill and 8 critically ill. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.